bills that have gone up to the state legislature, the federal legislature, and we see that it's slow. It's not answering the cry that we have for the injustice as it concerns police brutality and police reform. And so the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has taught us is that we cannot live in peace after 400 years of our blood, sweat, and tears in this country. And so separation is only the answer, because when you look at these children now, we see the focus on the children now. And when we look at slavery and the inception of the police department and the history behind it, now we're focusing on the youth, and the youth are scared. In Connecticut, there was a situation where the little boy was playing basketball in his own yard, and he saw a police car and hid behind it. And so, of course, there is evident fear of the police, and our children are weighing, dealing with the burden of that.
All right, Damien, let's hear from you.
Yeah, listen, I think this is a clear case of police lawlessness. These police officers should be clearly ashamed of themselves. I mean, are we going back to the days of when Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton called young black children super predators? And so that's why I think we need to continue to push for consistent implicit bias training for these officers to understand how they view black bodies, how they view young people. And so these are young people who normally in the summer would be playing video games like Fortnite, but for the rest of their lives, they would be riddled by this experience of having bullets going by their heads, and they will be traumatized by that for the rest of their lives. And so these officers need to be taken off the street today. I'm glad they're on administrative leave, but they need to lose their jobs. And then we need to also make sure we get rid of qualified immunity for officers who break the law, and this should not continue to happen, Isaiah.
Well, what if the cops what if the kid actually drove at the cops when we see the video? What if he tried to run them down? What if the gunshots didn't happen? We can't assume. And for you to argue that this is a racial separation,
they shot at a 9-year-old.
We don't need to separate because of race because an anti-Semite said so. And we can't simply believe. We need to see the cameras. The fact that you said we need to separate by race is so offensive. It's so low information, undereducated.
Black men, black women will never receive freedom, justice, and equality, and especially with the police department, who's adamant against police reform. The police union are the ones who's standing against these.
We have seen a greater tide for police reform in America today than ever before. And I think the police were probably very, very wrong in this situation, but we can't make an assumption, and that's why we need to see the cameras. And y'all are just making assumptions.
All right, let's bring Justin in. Justin, go ahead and weigh in.
I think this is a great argument of why police cams and body cams are so wonderful. I mean, we have in different newspapers, different accounts of what happened. For all we know, these shots were never fired. For all we know, the car was driving the police officers. I mean, there's no real clear evidence about what happened. But I want to go back to that separation by races. Was that real? Did you really mean that, Cydia? Did you really mean that?
No, I absolutely meant every word of that, because first of all, we were brutally brought to this country under violence. We endured violence for 400 plus years, and now we're watching the violence and the terrorism against the black man and the black woman and the child and live televised and live. So when you talk about body cams, we've seen time and time again the police brutality against the black men and women.
Okay, I heard you.
All right, let's hear from Justin. Go ahead, Justin.
If we try to name one region on Earth where there's never slavery, where there's never oppression, it wouldn't exist. The whole world was covered in bad situations for many, many years. And to think that we have to be divided instead of united in America and this year is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Together we should stand.
It's a little bit heartbreaking. And I mean, it's easy to say as a white man. And that's why I'm sitting here saying we have to watch these cameras, but I believe the officers are probably wrong.
We have enough evidence to tell the story.
But to say that we as Americans need to divide this country based on race is so unbelievably, horrifyingly bigoted that it's heartbreaking. For you to call it an anti-Semite.
And he's not an anti-Semite, sir.
Okay.
So get your facts straight.
I do.
So let me add this, and I hear Charles and Justin are getting distracted, but here are the numbers here, Charles, Justin, and others.